Before I started simplifying my life, I didn't think my life needed simplifying. In my eyes, everything was running smoothly. Now, yes, my apartment was overflowing with unnecessary things, but I was comfortable. I mean, I was either sitting at work, traveling for work, or in the gym most of my days anyway, so the clutter didn't bother me until I was triggered by the experiences I was gaining from all the traveling I was doing for my job. And there were a few experiences in particular that really challenged my thinking and opened my eyes, which prompted me to ask several important questions. Questions like, what do I value? What kind of life do I want to create? What does holistic success look like? And what changes am I willing to make? See, even with the traveling, the experiences I was gaining, and keeping myself busy in the gym, I started to accept the fact that I felt trapped under the weight of my clutter, which ultimately controlled my freedom and flexibility. So in 2016, I started simplifying my life. There have been many things I've done since then that have put me on a road of recovery, heading toward more clarity and a simplified life that I now have creative control over. And in this conversation, I want to share 5 of those things with you. Let's dive in. To kick things off, let's talk about the one thing that is visually the most obvious in terms of simplicity. As I briefly mentioned, in the years leading up to 2016, the apartment I lived in was always filled. There's no other way to put it. I had more than I needed and could use, but still found a way to add more. I called myself decorating, but in hindsight, I had no idea what I was doing. And part of me wants to express that I had good intentions for the knickknacks and dust collectors I would randomly purchase, but I never saw those intentions through to the end. So I eventually acknowledged my flaws and did something about it. And this may be a little surprising to you, is that I am a practicing minimalist. And I say practicing because I'm not 100% where I want to be yet. It's a work in progress. It's something that I've always been inspired by, the lifestyle, the mindset, and it's something that I wanted to challenge myself to do. So now it's been an ongoing journey. I didn't declutter my home in one session, nor 2, nor 5, or 10. But I did notice something very interesting over the years. My clutter-free home has gone through various phases that happen to line up with the growth phases of my personal life. Single, married, and a growing family. And within each of these phases, I've learned a lot about how to best approach decluttering and maintain a clutter-free home. And without diverting too much from this main topic here, I just want to take a few moments to share some of the big hitting strategies that have made a big difference on my journey as it pertains to these different phases. So in the single phase, there were 2 strategies that gave me a sizable step in the right direction when it comes to simplifying my life. And the first strategy was writing. Now, I'm not talking about writing random descriptions of my surroundings or fictional stories. I'm talking about writing for mental clarity. And at that time, I was trying to figure out who I was, what I valued, what success meant to me, what kind of life I wanted to create for myself. And I was making the necessary changes through my writing. Now, the second strategy that really gave me a sizable step forward was focusing on decluttering my identity clutter. At that time, I closely related who I was with my possessions, and I needed to break those 2 things up. Okay, the second phase is the married phase. And this phase has had a significant impact on me that I wasn't necessarily expecting. And that was because of accountability. You see, my wife has kept me honest throughout this entire journey, and I've kept her honest throughout this entire journey. And this dynamic has proven to be very helpful at helping us move the decluttering needle with 2 people in one household. All right, the most recent phase that I'm in right now is the growing family phase. We have a toddler who thinks he runs the house and has more energy than I ever thought he could muster up. And while we're extremely excited about this chapter of our lives, it has taken creativity, teamwork, and communicating with grandparents who are actually very supportive of our simplicity values, which we are grateful for. However, the big hitting strategy here that we use is something that I call clutter-free zones and clutter-safe zones. Now, at a high level, here's how we configure this in our home. When it comes to clutter-safe zones, our son's minimal bedroom, which also serves as his wildly expressive playroom, is the one area in our home that we agree is a clutter-safe zone because it can be a hot mess in there sometimes. Now, we have deployed some strategies that make cleanup easy and quick and allow our son to be involved, and I can talk about that at a different time. On the other hand, the remainder of our home is what we've agreed to be the clutter-free zone. So our kitchen, the living area, and primary bedroom are the areas that we work together to keep clean, free from unnecessary items, and organized. Also, I was messaging with a subscriber of my newsletter the other day about how I store my camera gear without visually cluttering our home because they were running into some hiccups with storing their photography gear, but I digress. I can talk about storage in another video as well. All right, earlier I briefly touched on the role writing has played in my life, and I'd love to expand on that. You see, before sharing my experience with minimalism, building habits, creating an intentional life, simplicity, etc., in the context you see today in my videos, I was sharing similar themes through my poetry. And I would post those poems here on this channel. If you scroll back far enough, you may find a few of them, but I would also perform them at open mics. You see, writing has always been my go-to for self-expression, and I tend to write things down before speaking out loud. And my deep-seated interest in writing has played a major role in helping me simplify my life because it served as a great outlet for my mental clutter, years before I touched or removed anything physical from my home. Now, I'm sharing this with you to encourage you to adopt a writing habit if you haven't. I firmly believe, and my opinion is biased here because I've seen and witnessed the results of writing in my own life, but I firmly believe that an uncluttered mind leads to an uncluttered environment. But the opposite is also true as well. Now, if you need help building that writing habit, I have a mental clutter writing exercise that you can download completely free on my website. Just go to ronaldlbanks.com/mental clutter and you can check it out there. Okay, let's keep this train moving, shall we? After I've been writing for years, working on my mental clutter, I decided to tackle my physical clutter, starting with the clothes in my closet. Now, I had already attempted to declutter this area right out the gate in 2016, but like anything, it was an ongoing process. So what prompted me to revisit this area was the decision fatigue I was experiencing. And I'll give you an example. I wrote a poetry book for a women's empowerment conference in 2018. And during the conference, I had a booth to sell my book. And then I also performed some of the poems in the book at the Saturday night celebration, or I believe we called it the gala. Now, the days leading up to the conference, I struggled to find something to wear. I spent hours standing in front of my closet, trying things on, overthinking, searching for new items online. And it was because I had too many options already. Many of them were brand new pieces, but I just didn't feel confident in them. Plus, collectively as a wardrobe, it was severely lacking. So after purging my closet down to a manageable size, the first thing I tackled was finding a basic t-shirt that I could wear every day and felt confident in. I previously wore a brand that will remain nameless, but I quickly discovered that the quality wasn't what I expected and it didn't last that long either. And so I kept searching, and about 3 years ago, I found Cuts, and their t-shirts have become my go-to everyday basic tee. And when I say every day, I mean all hours of the day. Now, I'm sitting here trying to hold in my excitement because I want to tell you about this color I'm wearing today. This is called Woof, and I love it. If you're new to the channel and you haven't figured it out by now, I'd naturally gravitate toward earth tone, muted, natural color palettes. And when Cuts released this colorway in their latest seasonal drop, I was smiling from ear to ear. But that's not to say that I don't own or wear other colors, because I do. Now, Cuts offers a variety of different cuts for men and women. You see what I did there? Cuts. Okay. In all seriousness, they have many different styles across tops, bottoms, and outerwear, which I also own a pair of their joggers, but I digress. If you're looking for a new basic t-shirt or different styles that you can layer into your wardrobe, go ahead and check them out using my link in the description. And if you use promo code Ronald20, you'll get 20% off your purchase, which is a pretty sweet deal. Thanks, Cuts. Okay, now if you're following this story closely, you may have picked up on a pattern where the last thing I said I did to simplify my life led to me then working and questioning on another area in my life. And simplifying my wardrobe alleviated much of my decision fatigue. But that then prompted me to question my decision-making skills beyond my struggles of getting dressed and picking out an outfit in a reasonable manner. You see, 5 years ago, I shared a conversation about fighting decision fatigue with minimalism. And here's what I had to say about the importance of having a reliable decision-making process. When you don't have a decision-making process, one of two things are going to happen. One, you're either going to procrastinate on making that decision, or two, you're not going to make the decision at all. But when you develop that decision-making process, for example, weighing the pros and cons, right? That's a good way to look at it. When you develop a decision-making process like that, then it makes it easier to make some of these larger and more complicated decisions that we face in our life. And then once you make those decisions, you have to learn to stop second guessing yourself, to trust your gut. I've mentioned this before in previous videos where you need to stay focused on your journey and stay focused on the decisions that you make for your life and not getting distracted by the things around you. The same thing, you can't get distracted by the number of options you have or second guessing yourself because maybe this one looks a little bit better or maybe this decision would have been a little bit better. If you trust your gut, if you develop a process that really works for you and you stay true to that, then you're going to have so much more mental energy in the long run because you're not wasting that energy running back and forth and arguing with yourself and arguing with your own emotions over a simple decision that you could have made from the jump. You see, I've discovered over and over again that having a reliable decision-making process can help you simplify your life because it gives you a structure and a solid foundation to then make your decisions from. And this is helpful because it alleviates decision fatigue and gives you a sense of confidence in your decisions so you don't have to second guess them later on. Now, I've refined my thoughts around this more and more over the years, and here's what my current decision-making process consists of. There are 6 questions that I like to ask myself, and then a final scoring exercise to help guide me toward my final decision. Let's walk through those steps together. The first question that I like to ask myself is based on my values, and here's the question. Overall, will this decision pull me closer to my core values or away from my core values? And I'll rank my answer on a scale of 1 to 5, and 1 equals disconnected from my values, and 5 equals completely aligned with my values. The second question is based on impact. How much of a positive impact will this decision have on my life? And again, my answer is on a scale of 1 to 5. 1 equals very little impact or little impact, and 5 equals huge impact. The third question is all about effort. So how much time and effort will this require? 1 equals a ton of work, and 5 equals almost no work. The fourth question is what I like to call a gut check. And I like to ask myself, am I emotionally at peace with this decision? And this is huge. If I'm not emotionally at peace, then I know right there that it's not the best decision for me to make in that moment. So am I emotionally at peace with this decision? And again, I rank my answer on a scale of 1 to 5. 1 equals not at peace, and 5 equals completely at peace. Question number 5 is a knowledge check. So do I have enough information to make a sound and informed decision? 1 equals ill-informed, 5 equals well-informed. And the 6th question is all about the vision I have for my life. So how close of a fit is this decision with my vision for my life? 1 is not close, and 5 is very close. So after I consider the decision that I'm currently contemplating and I run through these 6 questions and I rank my answers on a scale of 1 to 5, I then take the sum of those answers, divide it by 6, and I get an average score. And that average score is what's going to help inform me of what my final decision should be. It gives me great insight into the impact of my decision. Now that the average score should fall between 1 and 5. 1 equals needs further consideration, and 5 equals strongly consider. If your average score is leaning towards a 1 and a 2, then that should tell you that you need to further consider this decision before making it. You're not at peace yet. You're not emotionally at peace. Maybe you don't have enough information. Maybe it's pulling you away from your values. Maybe there's some more things you have to figure out before you make that decision. Or if it's leaning more towards a 4 and a 5, that's a great indication that, you know what, I think I have everything I need to make this decision with confidence and with clarity, and I should go ahead and take the next step. All right, so I've made a copy of this decision-making process that you can access for free if you want to use it in your life. Just go to ronaldlbanks.com/decisions. You can grab a copy of it there. Now, as I've mentioned, one of the many great things about having a reliable decision-making process is the confidence it gives you in the current decisions you're making and the future decisions to come, including decisions about the things you invite into your life, people, thoughts, and material things. And so what I've been doing to help me keep an active consciousness around the decisions I'm making is I've stepped into the role of gatekeeper of my life. As my gatekeeper, if something does not add value to my life, then I don't allow it to enter my life. Being your gatekeeper is about grabbing life by the reins and taking control. Clutter happens when you leave the gate open and unmonitored. Now, if you like asking questions like I do, you're probably wondering about, well, how can I welcome things into my life intentionally without jeopardizing that gatekeeper status? And if so, click this video here to hear my perspective on consumerism. And it might be different from what you expect a minimalist to say. Keep growing towards clarity, my friend, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.